Yes, hello. I'm shooting this outside today because despite how sunny and beautiful it is out here, there's still a dark cloud hanging over me, and that's the Port Adelaide Football Club.
It is! It's all over! Port Adelaide! They had the power to win!
Let's just start by saying what a terrible game that was.
You're terrible, Muriel.
Just in general, I don't know how anyone outside of Port Adelaide and Essendon supporters could have watched that game. It was one of the worst games I've ever seen. What in the Ken Hinkley was that? Honestly, I'm just lost for words. Last night, I was at the stage of grief of acceptance, and I thought, you know what, this is who we are now. This is the new reality, so just make peace with it. And then I woke up this morning and I was angry. I just feel embarrassed to be a Port supporter. Feel embarrassed to constantly put myself out here and be optimistic about Port, and then they come out on a Thursday night, another standalone game, another big game where heaps of eyes on us, and they just flop. And really, if I look through all the stats and disposals of the game, I could really break this down, but I'm just going to go by how I feel. And to me, there's two things that's pretty important, and that's attitude and effort. And I think our attitude and effort is disgraceful, and it's embarrassment to all our supporters. Like I said, the game was horrible. The first three quarters, both teams were really bad, made so many skill errors. Port Adelaide just completely butchered the ball with overuse of the handball. Not even only overuse, they couldn't even hit a target with a handball. So how are we supposed to implement a new game plan when we can't even handball to each other? Tell me that. For as bad as Essendon was for three quarters, they turned on the last quarter and completely dug the final dagger into our heart. So I'm pretty lost for words when it comes to how do you even break down a game like this. Halfway through the game, I was thinking to myself, there's no good coming from this game, but it's an absolute doomsday if we lose this. Let's just get the 4 points, move on and start again next week, and then, forget about it. But in true Port fashion, we said, no, hold on. We're not only going to play really bad footy, we're going to actually throw the game away and lose 4 points as well. I'll come back to attitude and effort. The attitude was poor, the effort was poor. Some of our senior players didn't stand up again when it really mattered. When you looked at some of our best players, just from the top of my head, Burgoyne was one of our best. He didn't stop trying all day, and he looked like someone who puts the effort in 4 quarters. Moraes was amazing as well. He's only his second game. He's 18 years old. He had 27 disposals. How are we supposed to be a decent football club with a reputation when we've got a second gamer that's trying to put us on his back to try and win the game? It's just gross. Our forward line was a mess. Georgiades dominated in that first quarter. Probably should have had 4 goals, and they didn't look like they had an answer, but it looked like it was just him trying, and he cooked himself out, and he's basically non-existent for the rest of the game. So that was disappointing. Willie Rioli looked good up around the ball, but then we missed him deeply. But again, doesn't matter who was there. If we enter the forward line like we did, it's just never going to work. Like, Essendon's defence is really out of form. It's probably their most out of form line, and it has been all year, and we basically played him into form. Like Zach Reid, who I like personally, and he's had a rough run of injuries, he got an absolute bath last week, and he's down on form and confidence, and we literally played him into form over a half a game, and he ended up finishing really strong. My biggest whack's going to go to Ivan Soldo. That was just a disgrace. He literally had zero impact, probably negative impact on our team. This is his one chance to come back in the team after everything that's happened last year, everything that's happened in the off-season, to prove that we can play 2 rucks and he can be an asset up forward, and he was just absolutely useless. Yeah, Hornet's another one. So he's obviously down on form, or he's injured, or something's going on. But when he doesn't play well, body language and attitude looks bad, even if he's not meaning to. So yeah, he did kick a good goal, and he did try to fight back in the last quarter, but it was too little too late. Same with Connor Rosie. I talked about how he played a captain's game last week. We really needed him this week, and yeah, he wasn't there to deliver. Yeah, I honestly don't know where we go from here. I think this is our new reality. We need to make a shift. I said a few weeks ago we could be a contender. That didn't happen. I said a week ago maybe this is our new reality where we are maybe 8th or 10th, but now maybe I have to shift again. Like, are we going to finish that far out of the top 8? We can't lose games like this. And you know what? Essendon, credit to them, they fought back in the last quarter, but don't tell me we shouldn't have beat them. We definitely should have beat them yesterday, and it took them 1 quarter to completely turn it on, and that Saad El Houli came on and completely ran circles around everyone. I don't know where this leaves Hinkley, to be honest. You know, I am a big fan of keeping him for the year or not letting him coach to start. Like, I don't like when we sack coaches mid-season. I never like that. I think it looks bad for the club and makes everyone around us laugh at us like we're a joke. So now it's just making it almost impossible for him to keep his job, because I don't believe that he doesn't care. They're obviously not playing for him, because that attitude is shit. Like, how can the players honestly say that they gave everything yesterday? They really didn't. And that's the only thing that matters to us. It matters as a supporter. Winning is the best. Losing really sucks, but there's so many ways to lose. Look at the Dogs versus Collingwood last week. That's a way to lose. I'm sure Dogs fan hated that. I'm sure Western Bulldogs as a football club wanted that 4 points, but you hold your head high and you come back next week. Losses like this is gross. I thought Collingwood was rock bottom. This is 8 feet under. This is it. Q, no.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey, 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 goodbye.
So if I'm going to keep doing this every week, I need to just reassess how I go about it. You know, I always like to be optimistic. We've got 10 days until the next game, and when I do come back and when we do a run through of next week's opponent in St Kilda, I'm going to be optimistic, but like, I just need to find the positives in different places. The young kids look really good. Marias, again, it was really, really something that other players, senior players, probably need to take note of, which is embarrassing. I'm really hoping Ollie Lord comes back next week and adds a bit of structure to this forward line, because we are short in a tool, and Arvin Soldo is definitely not the answer. Yeah, guys, so if you're a Port supporter, I'd love to know how you're feeling right now. I'd love for you to comment or, send a message, do something. I want to hear what other Port supporters are feeling, because I feel like we're all on different levels at the moment. Some people always knew we were shit. Some people are upset. Some people just can't come to terms with losing to Essendon like that. Yeah, I just want to finish by saying, like, again, this is a standalone game. Last round one was a massive game on a Saturday night. That's a great slot to be playing. And every time we have the big slots, every time we have the standalone games, every time we play on a Saturday night and a big game in a big stadium like MCG, we absolutely just embarrass ourselves. And it's not even a loss, it's a complete embarrassment. And yeah, this is a different shade of embarrassment from the Collingwood game, but geez, it hurt more in my eyes. Don't get me wrong, I love Port and I will always love Port to the day I die, but the big thing is, the reason why I fell in love with this club is how we used to go about it, and that was attitude and effort, and we could never knock that, even in some of our darkest days. Like, we might not have had the playing calibre, but we had attitude and effort. Now, I don't know where we are. We're a young team. We had 6 players under 21, so that is a positive in itself, because at least that wasn't a team supposed to be in the premiership window, but still, our best players are in 25, 26. The Connor Rosies, the Bergmans, the Zach Butters, all the guys around that age are coming into their prime of their careers. So they're the ones that need to stand up consistently when it matters. So I really hope with Butters coming back and a few big names like Zerk Thatcher in a few months, maybe we can salvage this season. I don't even know where I want us to finish, because, you know, if we make the finals, that will be a miracle. And I don't know how far we'll even get. Maybe if we make it with a young team, that will be exciting. But if we flop out and finish in the bottom 4 or bottom 6 or bottom 10, whatever it is, we don't even have our draft pick this year. It's gone to Gold Coast. So in a sick way, it's not saying it's motivation, but what is that motivation to play the kids and fall out of the top 8? Like, we're literally not going to get any draft capital for this. So anyway, thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. If anyone's out there hurting, I'm hurting too, but it's a beautiful sunny day. We've got friends, family, and plenty of football to happen, so we'll bounce back next week. Catch you.
Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Hey.